Hey everyone, how's it going?
Yeah, welcome to another CT class for you guys, the CT Club members. Thank you so much for being a part of our Patreon. We really appreciate your support, and I hope that you have been finding it valuable. I know our crypto portfolio has been performing well, so I'm hoping that yours is too.
I mean, if they're following us, they're killing it.
Anyway, so this class is kind of a reiteration of a class that we held back in May, but a little bit different. So that class that I'm talking about was called profit taking strategies during a bull run. I also chopped it up and made it public for YouTube because I think it was very, very valuable, and kind of how to have what mindset to have during a bull run for crypto. So today we want to talk about really the timing of making your moves in crypto, whether it's buying or selling. You're going to learn that we're going to say it's very subjective and very kind of personal according to your own situation, but we're going to go through different situations and kind of help you get a better understanding of, again, what we would do, because that's the only kind of advice we really can give is what we would do in that particular situation. So, yeah.
Hey, Nick, Art, Trader Zen, good to see you guys.
And as always, these live streams are designed to be live so that you guys can go ahead and voice your questions in the live chat as we go through. Definitely want to be able to accommodate you guys as best as we can. I have a few questions that are collected from the post on Patreon from a few people, so I'll be going over those at the end. But if you guys have questions, send them over and we'll talk about it. So yeah, let's talk about when to buy and sell crypto, and especially during a bull run. I mean, I think this is really good timing for this class, especially because yesterday, Bitcoin hit $50,000 per Bitcoin, which is an amazing feat, a nice round psychological number. And as you can see, it's already blown past that.
And it's actually creating more of a snowball effect, whereas BlackRock now is putting part of their portfolio into Bitcoin, which is kind of cool. They're saying they're dabbling in it, which means they're buying the crap out of it. So that's, you can kind of see like what they're trying to do there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first, especially maybe for those of you, I'm assuming most of you here are new to crypto in general. I think that's most of the crowd, or at least still getting familiar to crypto, at least in different strategies you can have. So if you're wondering, when you should sell your crypto, it really mostly should be determined by when you bought. For example, if you bought Bitcoin at $500, you can sell now at $50K and make a massive profit, maybe be retired early. Whereas there's people who are buying at $40,000, $45,000, and this $50,000 mark isn't really the point that they need to be to retire or to see the kind of profits they might like to see. So some questions that you might ask each other, or might ask yourself, that these are some questions I think you should ask yourself if you're new, is this your first bull run? Take that into consideration when you're making these decisions. Try to absorb as much information as you can. I know there's that saying, past history doesn't dictate what's going to happen in the future, especially if you caught our live stream this past Monday. We talked about what a super cycle is. But anyway, so we're going to talk about that a little bit. So I don't know, most people, I think, okay, when to buy. Let's address that first. I think,
Right now.
yes.
Right now.
Obviously, right now is not like the ideal time to buy. Ideally, you would have bought Bitcoin in 2010 when it was $1,000 even, maybe last summer when it was bouncing around 3,000 or so. So obviously right now it's not an ideal time to buy, but it's still good to buy Bitcoin. I still think that there's plenty of profit to be made in Bitcoin, but just know that it's not the most ideal time. And I think it's responsible for you to have some exposure to Bitcoin at this point, rather than, waiting for the dip.
But I mean, like, if you don't have any exposure to Bitcoin, right now is an ideal time to buy, because I mean there's going to be a snowball effect of huge institutions buying Bitcoin right now. So as you saw with BlackRock today. So yeah, I think right now, if you don't have any Bitcoin, that's right now is the time to get it, you know? So we are like, we're going to go way further up than right now. So I don't have a price prediction. Nobody has a adequate price prediction. I hear it all over the place, but you know, like I think right now is a fine time to buy, especially, you know, say it goes to 100K, you doubled your money, which is great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the next thing I think you should be asking yourself is, have you researched the patterns of the price movements of past bull runs? You know, whether that's a time frame or percentage changes that have occurred, you know, when that trend switches to a bull market, and then, you know, when it really starts taking off, how long is that usual time frame? And again, what are the percentages seen?
But we can't go off of like past bull runs either, because I mean I remember my first bull run was 2013 beginning. It went from $70 to 1,150 or something like that, and then crashed back down. You know, this is within a year or whatever. And so, you know, that was just because people heard about it. That just not a lot of people. There wasn't a lot of liquidity back then, so people hear about it, they buy it, they spike it 10x from there. You know, whereas 2016, 17, you had retail, and they kind of blew up the price like this, and now we're having like some serious people getting involved with this space. We're having the entire world acknowledging it. I mean, just look at the front cover of CNBC yesterday. The reason why I look at CNBC, if you guys don't know, is not because I get financial advice from those guys. No, it's to figure out what the retail investor is looking at, because that's the dumb money. They're looking at this. So those are not going to be the early adopters.
No.
They'll never be. CNBC is not for early adopters. It's for people that, you know, want to hop on the bandwagon.
They want to wait until, you know, it's been verified and legitimized by a lot of other people before they get in.
Yeah.
But so really, if you look at, there is kind of a pattern that's developed over the past bull runs where there's a general 3-year gap between the beginning and ending of, or the beginning of one bull run and the beginning of another, basically, or maybe the end of a bull run and the beginning of another is about 3 years. So, and then also like, what do you think? Like the bull runs typically last about a year, because that's what happened in 2013 and then again in 2016, 17.
Yeah, I mean, you have your accumulation phase, which was like 2016, and then you had like end of 2016 where it started ramping up, and then 2017 and end of 2017 went crazy, and then the first week of 2018 was the end of the alt season bull run, whereas Bitcoin had already peaked. So this time it's way, way, way different. Like
But if it wasn't different, let's just do this scenario.
Oh, then
if it wasn't different, I know a lot of people have said, you know, the end of the summer around September would be what they would expect the bull run to end around September, I think.
Yeah, I've heard September.
And also
October.
There's price predictions. If it played in the same role as the last bull run, we'd see something like 100K per Bitcoin. You know,
Probably
altcoins,
200K.
who knows? Altcoins are way more unpredictable even than Bitcoin is. But so that would be like
well, because Bitcoin went up to 20x.
Yeah.
So this time, if history repeats, okay, so then we're looking at
20K isn't when the bull run started for us. I don't think this time around.
Well, I mean,
it really started ramping up again, like around 10.
It was being accumulated, but I mean, I guess that can be argued.
Yeah.
So I think I consider 20K was like the start of the bull.
Okay.
So that's pretty much what I think of the start. So
yeah,
other people
so like
can
just
be
from
different.
the previous all-time high from there marked the start.
Yeah.
So anyway, if it was like by the book, this bull run would be within those parameters. But again, like we talked about on Monday, with it, the very, very real possibility that we're going to witness a super cycle, which generally bumps the crypto markets outside of that general playbook of how the market can go during this trend. So with that being said, that's where we're seeing these predictions of $1 million, where the bull run never ends or it lasts very, very long. So those are all things to consider when you're thinking about taking profits and maybe leaving some behind, not selling everything to see what happens. We're going to address all of that. But this is something that I think everyone should be aware of if you're investing in Bitcoin. And of course, you have to consider why you're buying it. Is it purely just to make a profit? Then you're going to be paying far more attention to the timing of the market, when to get out and take your profit, versus if you just want to accumulate more Bitcoin to have more Bitcoin to use in the future, or if you see like a really long-term perspective of Bitcoin like we do, you're just there to kind of stack more sats. So
I think timing this market is going to be really difficult.
Yeah.
Really difficult because like there's so many other factors that have gone into this bull run, like with corporations, Grayscale, and MicroStrategies, you have BlackRock, all of these companies, and potentially Apple, who knows if that rumor is going to come true. So, I mean, it's so wild right now. And even like I was watching like a CNBC episode where this, one of the two main hosts for cryptocurrencies over there, the experts or whatever, they're like talking.
Where do they get those guys?
I have no idea, but they're talking like, yeah, I don't really know. Like if only we had a crystal ball. I'm like, dude, you should have been listening to this channel. We've been talking about this for years.
Yeah,
but
there's a few others,
he's like,
yeah.
The whole world is getting involved with this, and he's like, yeah, there's only 21 million Bitcoin available, but in reality, there's 14 to 16 million that are really available, and wait till they learn that part. But with that said, that they had no idea that it was like scaring them to think of like crazy numbers, how high Bitcoin can go, because with no supply and even with the demand, the supply is not rising. And, that could create crazy, scary numbers, as they said. So they have no idea.
Who? Scary for them because they're not in it? Or
well, I mean, it's like crazy numbers to where it's like going to be a black hole. Essentially, Bitcoin is a black hole. It's sucking the entire monetary world into it right now. As you can see it's happening. So this is crazy, guys.
And that's when we're going to start denominating things in terms of Satoshis instead of Bitcoin.
For sure.
But okay, so now that we got that concept kind of locked away of the two different ways generally we see the bull run possibly going, you have to think of, again, the time frames of your own investment. How long are you willing to hold, or how long are you able to hold? Maybe, some people are taking out loans with their credit cards, and they're trying to play the game of lending and using the profits from lending to pay the interest on the loan, or pay back the loan. I mean, last bull run, when there was like the whole BitConnect thing happening, people were taking out second mortgages on their houses just to get into BitConnect because they thought it was such a guaranteed thing. Some people do some very crazy, and in my opinion, greedy things to get exposure to Bitcoin, and it's not exactly responsible. So however it is that hopefully you're not doing something like that. I definitely don't advocate that. But whatever your situation is that you're using to fund your investments in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, that might determine how long you're able to hold. I think it's always good to have a long-term perspective. It definitely lends yourself to less stress and really focusing on the fundamentals and really what this whole space is all about. Also, you need to think of like, what profits do you need to see? What are your financial goals? What do you need to pay off? Do you have debt? Do you want to pay off your mortgage? Do you pay off your car loans, student loans? Do you want to, start a fund if you have kids, to get them going from their, down the road for them? Do you want to buy a house, maybe a second house, to get some passive income coming? It's very smart and advantageous for you to have at least a general understanding of what your financial goals are, and then definitely work on making it very specific. So then you have this framework of you're going to concentrate much more on your own time frame and your own how your profits are growing that match what you need versus what the market could do. I think those are two different concepts that you should pay attention to.
And that's one thing that the majority of people last bull run failed to do, and they've regretted it. So like, I know this may seem like a really boring subject of like, okay, you need to plan it out. You know, you need to really write down what you want out of life. That is like really important, because if you don't, like, you're going to get to a point where you might have everything. And then, you know, if we do have a downturn, you're going to lose a lot of it. You know what I mean? So you need to like get the heck out of the market when you feel comfortable, when you're done, when you don't need any more money. You know, if you're at that point or whatever. But if you're trying to pay off student loans and stuff like, or house debt, you know, you have to understand that Bitcoin is a black hole once again. So that means it's probably going to rise a lot more than where it's at right now. So say, for instance, you have a home loan or home mortgage for, you know, you're paying 6%, 5 or 6%, or I don't know. And, you know, why would you pay off that mortgage while Bitcoin is rising more and more? So, you know, you have to, it's opportunity cost. You know, you have to figure out, like, is it worth paying off your mortgage rather than leaving it into Bitcoin? You know, that's just, it's risky for sure. But I mean, for what we've done, it's worked out all right. You know, that's what we've done. So I'm like, all right, I understand that crypto space is going to rise crazy percentages, you know? And so I'd rather keep it in there than pay off, you know, lose that purchasing power by paying off something that's only taken 4% a year away from me. So, yeah,
that's a good point. I'd like to address some questions here in the live chat really quick. Shazada is asking if we offer one-on-one consultations for investments. We don't. That's just opening a whole new thing that we're not really prepared to do that much time and energy into that kind of intense analyzing of your portfolio. So we don't, but the best that we can do is tell you what we're doing. And basically,
that's why our Patreon's there for.
Yeah, and that's basically, you know, anything that we would say to suggest for you is something that we're doing ourselves. So in a kind of broader way, we're presenting to you what we're doing.
I mean, essentially anybody that wants to really take your money, you have to wonder, like, just lay it out like we did. Like, we don't have anything to hide. You know, we've studied our portfolio. We've studied these coins. We made the best decisions possible. We've been in this space for a long time, probably longer than most of the people that are taking people's money for. You know, you have to be careful because these people, they're just, it's a numbers game. So they just want your money.
Also, Trader Zen is asking, which coins do you people buy for future utility value, not just for appreciation? Right off the bat, I'm thinking privacy coins, obviously. And also any coin that is going to have any kind of interoperability with it, I think is going to be valuable just to use. That way you can kind of, the reason it would have interoperability is to be able to take the pros of each Bitcoin or each blockchain that they interact with and apply it and be able to utilize that. Have less trade-offs, basically. That's my opinion.
William Van Limp, I would like to learn how to make profits from alts. Well, I mean, one easy thing you can do right now is staking. That's like amazing. Like, if you have enough different coins or whatever, you can essentially make cash every day or like coin every day and then convert that into Bitcoin.
And I also did a class on how to earn passive income with crypto, going over staking and also lending, because that's the vernacular here. The wording is getting all mushed together where like people think they can stake their Bitcoin. That's not actually what's happening. I think it's very important that you understand the difference for security wise as well. So if you haven't already, I definitely suggest that you check out that video to get a kind of general understanding of how those systems work. And also, Shazada, that's also kind of for you too as well. How to take profit out for daily or monthly expenses. Staking is amazing for that. It's also amazing for dollar cost averaging. Talk about an easy way to accumulate into a position without dipping into your cash reserves that you might need to pay for your rent or food or your daily expenses in the real world that don't yet take crypto. Staking coins actually provide a lot of flexibility for you within the crypto space for that.
Yeah. And in our portfolio, we have a lot of different staking coins, so you can go ahead and figure it out. I mean, Cardano is one of them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm going to do, I've already got a tutorial put together for Cardano. I'll also be covering Tezos, Cosmos, Polkadot, and there's one more I can't remember, but those are the general ones. Also, Anthony Davies, he's asked, don't you think that the dumps will be smaller percentages now that more institutions are involved now and they are buying up the dips? Yes, but with that kind of a centralized supply, you have to wonder what they're going to do if something is going to cause the price to go down to the similar levels that they bought. Will they then sell before they start taking on a loss? I don't know. It's very interesting. But yeah, I think the market is definitely evolving based on who's buying it and why. And that's why we're seeing different behaviors in the market as well. Okay, I just want to get right back to the topics real quick. Let's see. Oh, if we're talking about the timing of when to buy, I almost forgot the topic of today's class. When to buy and sell crypto. I know that I think a lot of you aren't necessarily on the same level as we are investment-wise. Having gone through the market cycles that we have, we've been able to accumulate and establish a certain kind of position. So for us, when we're talking about taking profits, and like, we're not going to sell all of our crypto to meet our financial goals. That was never what we would ever do. But so for those who like are just buying now, and let's say Bitcoin goes to 100K and you've doubled your money, maybe that's not necessarily enough for you to retire off of. But maybe you have one specific financial goal you'd like to meet and go ahead and cash out for that. Maybe you're wondering, well, how much do I take out? How much of my portfolio do I take out to cover the cost of whatever it is that you need to purchase? We've discussed this and we've come to the conclusion not only of the percentage, but also the coins of our portfolio that we would sell to accomplish this. And basically it's most of our altcoins. There's like probably about 5 that we might want to hang on to, at least some of it, not sell all of them, but generally it's like 20 to 30% of our portfolio. I know a lot of people have been asking for like a specific number. We've frequently said, we're never going to sell all of our Bitcoin, maybe not any of our Bitcoin, no matter what the price does. Might be tempted to take some profit off Bitcoin, but we
buy a new computer.
Yeah. But so yeah, like for us, like thinking about someone who is new to crypto, and because if you're cashing out crypto to buy something with fiat, that, let's say it's your debt, a house, whatever, that cash then isn't necessarily going to be available to put back into crypto for buying the dips later on. So that's kind of like exiting the system for good. So that's why we're thinking of like 20 to 30%. So then we still have cryptos that we think are very valuable that will continue to be useful and valuable in the future. But also we can see what else the bull run does, because like we've been saying, who freaking knows how long it's going to go for and how high it's going to go. So that kind of plays into Running Cut had a question on the comments from the post for this class. And one of them was, what is a moon bag? And so for me, that's what that kind of means to me. I don't know. I didn't look up the Webster's dictionary's definition of a moon bag, but for me, it means like, take profits, maybe you dollar cost averaging out of a position, like you're taking profits on the way up. So you're actually taking, you're cashing out less and less coins, but you're getting more money for those coins. But then there's a certain amount that you're not going to sell all of it. And that would be like your moon bag. Like, let's see what this does.
Yeah. If you have like a risky one, that some of the risky ones that we're posting on our Patreon, and it goes 100x. yeah, cash it out and have fun.
Yeah.
You know, buy some Bitcoin. Make sure you buy some Bitcoin with it, but you know, enjoy your life. For sure.
Another question he had that I want you to elaborate on as well is he asked, when or what percentage do you take profit to pull your original investment out, or do you don't? So like he's asking for like, again, are we looking for a percentage number on our investments that we're like, okay, that's number hit. Now we take out our original investment, or we take out profit whatsoever. What do you look for when you're taking profit?
I don't look at the percentage wise. Like I have no idea like what percentage I'm up in my Bitcoin. I have no idea what I'm up in Ethereum at all. I guess our portfolio has a little graph or whatever. But I never look at that. I just don't. What I look at is like, I want to see where Bitcoin's going. I want to see where mainstream is taking this. I want to see where major corporations are bringing this to, and that's going to be my kind of idea of like where the top of the bull run will be. And so, like for instance, I don't care if like one or two of my alts go down to zero. I really don't care. Like what I'm looking for is I have a bunch of bags that do go skyrocketing. That's what I care about, because that's going to make up for anything that I don't have. And so, percentage wise, what I look for is not the percentage. It's just how high Bitcoin's going. And then once I see that Bitcoin has probably reached a top or near a top or whatever, that's when I'll start taking out the alts, you know, like that I need to take out. So I think it's really important to start with the alts first and then move on upwards to the more important coins that you like. And then, you know, I wouldn't sell all of those. I would keep a little. For instance, some of the ones that I won't sell or all of it are of alts are Monero, DOT. I'm probably not going to sell all of it, regardless how high it goes. Let's see, Cardano. Did I say that? And Ethereum. So Ethereum, definitely, I don't plan on selling a ton of it. But we will see. If it goes to 10K, we have our dollar amount that we would sell at, because we've made a list of what we want out of life. And so if it hits 10K, then, you know, that gives us the ability to not have to sell too much. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and if Ethereum is at 10K, think of like what the DeFi coins are going to be at, like crazy numbers. Like we're talking, okay, so Ethereum, what it 5x's, 6x's from here, you know, that would mean some of these DeFi coins would be up 100x, you know, potentially 1,000x, who knows?
And I mean, also, if you've seen our portfolio updates, you might notice that other category that makes up usually around 5, maybe 7% of our portfolio. That's a long list of coins. And a lot of you are wondering how we're keeping track of them. We don't day trade. So really, we're just accumulating, or we have accumulated them. Now we're just seeing what they do during the bull run. So we're not necessarily trying to time the top of each of those coins. Like it's like using a big net. Like when we think Bitcoin is popping off, that's when we're going to look at the other alts and scoop up and get profits from those. Sell those, really.
Nick had a good point.
Yeah.
So he's pretty much saying that with you can get into BTC and borrow against it for your investment.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that. I'm not going to do that, but other people can do that. BlockFi, right?
Yeah, BlockFi and Celsius are two of the very popular ones, but they're custodian platforms. Like you have to give your coins to them. They have ownership of your coins. So that's what's concerning to me. It is a new concept. I know BlockFi and Celsius have been around for a while, but still, it's new. There's risks going to be involved with like how long that business stays around, you know?
VoIP has stayed around for a while.
Oh, okay. But it's like, whatever. Like, just don't go into it blind, basically. I'm always just trying to pad those with warnings. But no, what I want to do also say this about Nick, it is a good point about borrowing against it for your investment. So you can gain the liquidity of that value without losing your position in it. That really is ideal if Bitcoin kind of plateaus, right? Like most ideal is it skyrockets up and it plateaus. So then you suddenly have, you know, a lot to leverage with. But if it falls in value, that could be interesting for you as well if you're borrowing against it to try to balance out your position.
But if you want to have fun during the next bear run, you can do what Fritzer said.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think about staking USDC or similar the next hop? Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. That's what you want to do.
And that's what's new about this time around that wasn't around in 2017. Yeah. The platforms that like all the ICO phase, like ICO craze of 2017 is where all of these platforms that we're now seeing were kind of born. So now we're seeing the ones that survived and we're actually trying to build something are now actually having a platform and service for you to use, like staking or like lending and things. So that's really interesting. And it's like, come on, like you already made a lot of profit on crypto. And now you can also use that profit and see even more with the passive income. It's really cool seeing how this space is evolving, and it's all, you know, some people, it's all just about making money. It's all just about freeing yourself, really, and giving yourself the ability to have an option in your life rather than being tied to a 9-to-5 job that you hate. There's all these options for you to get many different streams of income, passive income, and it's a really cool thing to see develop. And I think it's going to change a lot of people's lives. But
well, as far as like which platforms would I recommend? Okay. I mean, Coinbase, Fritzer. So Coinbase might be one of them, you know, like to keep your USDC.
But USDC is used in a lot of DeFi as well. So
at least, I mean, okay, USDC is Coinbase's coin. Yeah, so
it's probably the most fee friendly on Coinbase.
Yeah. So if you're trusting the coin, you're probably going to trust also like it's.
And it has been around for a while. It's not some sketchy exchange. Coinbase has been around since 2014. So.
But if you want to do super risky, you can go on like Urine Finance and get like 30% on it. But then, you know, you have to make sure they're audited and everything else, which is, that's when you get into some crazy stuff. But let me answer this question, William. I'm sorry, can you also stake with a small account? Yes, you can stake with just a couple coins if you want.
Yeah, most of these staking coins, like some of the older staking coins have a pretty high requirement. Like, for example, Dash or Decred also has a high requirement. But like Cardano, Tezos, like the requirement is one Cardano, which is like $1. Is it $1 yet?
Oh, Cardano, no, it's at 86 cents.
Okay, so it's like $1. And Tezos, the same thing. You just need one. So keep in mind, you know, that the percentage that you get paid out is based on that investment. So if you can accrue into that, then you're gonna get coins. But it's all. Do you stake, hodl, or swing trade? We stake, and we kind of do all of those. We more so hold, and then we stake. And Toby sometimes trades, and he's like, "Okay, we're getting into it. We're gonna do some trades. Wake up! It's 3 a.m. We need to do a trade."
Yeah, it's in the middle of the night. I'm like, you know what? Just let's do it.
But like swing trade really is like, you know, trading the trend. So like that means selling at the top of a bull run and buying at the bottom of a bear market. And that's ideally what most people should do to accumulate a position with their coins. I want to get back to, let's see, I had another question here. A good one from Bob Smith. Again, a comment on the post on Patreon. How do we keep our gains safe after the bull and not crystallize the gain, like pretty much materialize it or exit out of crypto, like I was saying before?
USDC?
Yeah.
Pax G, that could be a good one.
Could be a good one. It is redeemable for gold.
That's like a gold-backed crypto.
Yeah.
So, and I think they have been audited, but I haven't studied up as much on that. So, but that is an idea. Just keep in mind that that is a huge counterparty risk because you're also dealing with, custodialship of gold around the world, which is run by the LBMA and the CME. So, they're dictating the price of gold and silver.
Yeah.
So, they'll just keep it smashed down forever.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of ironic that, a lot of people enter crypto to escape the inflation of a fiat currency like the US dollar, and yet they go into a stable coin that is backed by the US dollar. So that's interesting. But so like in terms of stable coins that are fiat backed, I think USDC is good if you're okay with that. Also, PaxG seems to be pretty good as well. And also another interesting concept is these elastic supply coins, these cryptos that they get their stability through, these algorithms that pretty much balance the supply to match the demand so that the price stays pretty relatively stable. DAI from MakerDAO is their stable coin. That's a pretty popular option. Again, very popular with DeFi and staking and lending.
Yeah, you can be a liquidity provider with that.
Yeah, so DAI, it's a popular one. Still not nearly as popular as Tether, but I think that's going to change. I think people are going to be waking up to that.
Well, I mean, I remember having some money in Tether, and like I just hear, oh my gosh, it's getting audited, it's going to fail. It's a big scam. They don't have the reserves. And I've been hearing this for so many years. But I mean, if you don't want that, there's no point of even having that overhanging you anymore because we have so many options like USDC. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. And Bob Smith had another question, and it actually sparked I think is going to be a really good conversation that I think everyone should be aware of because it's something we've seen over and over in crypto, but still it seems to be a repeating story. And he's asking, do you think DeFi projects will have a better chance of staying strong after the bull run compared to maybe just any other altcoin? Maybe it being a DeFi project will be better, which is actually what we're saying right now. What we're talking about is just hitting me. Like we're just talking about using DeFi after the bull run to take advantage and get more profits. So sure, I mean, that's actually legitimate projection of what could happen with DeFi. It might actually very well just keep going, or at least not, go to zero. But also there is a lot of just like, there's like 5,000, 6,000, whatever cryptocurrencies that exist. And like most of them are total scams and vaporware. There's a few, maybe 10, 20, 15, whatever, that are actually going to be good or have some chance. Okay, percent. Toby's hopeful.
I think they're probably about maybe 10% out there.
500
or less. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like,
yeah, maybe less. Yeah, there's a lot of crap out there. So.
Anyway, so there's a lot of DeFi projects right now that are riding on the coattails of the hype of this bull run. So they're only really, that's why actually, we invested in quite a few coins. Again, if you look at our portfolio, we have got a ton of coins. And we're really just looking at the numbers that for those kind of shallow, very small investments that we're making. We're not necessarily doing super deep dives on those coins because we know that at this point, we're not necessarily holding them for the very long term. When we begin to shift and trying to decide how long we're going to hold a coin for, that's when we go even deeper into our research. But you can make money during a bull run. If you look at the numbers, I know Toby is always looking at the market cap, the supply, and the volume.
And also,
if it's related to DeFi generally.
Well, I'm looking at also some of the developers on these, so like, for instance, like Gavin Wood, he was one of the founders of Ethereum, and he started like Polkadot and Kusama. And so I'm like, oh shoot. Well, I looked at Kusama and I saw like the incredibly low market cap when we first presented this to Patreon. And then also, the supply was incredibly low. And I'm like, okay, well, this is really undervalued. And as you see, you guys have killed it on that one. So I think it has a ways to go too.
Yeah. But so, anyway, so the point is that even though we're investing in coins doesn't mean that we necessarily think it's going to be a forever existing cryptocurrency. That's why we're putting such a small percentage of our investments into those like really small cap coins. they are risky. Who knows what's going to happen to them, but we're going to see. That's why we invested in them. And so when the bear market comes back, a lot of these are going to fade away because they're just there for the profits. They're just there to hype up and we're a marketing scheme, really not really building anything with code. So that's one risk. And then I was thinking, okay, so let's say we're in a super cycle, and if a high tide raises all boats, let's say these DeFi, a lot of these DeFi platforms like SushiSwap is just right off the top of my head, but I know there's a few of them that have like a master key where like one developer or handful of developers actually have quite a bit of control over the network itself. And so in that way, they are kind of centralized. I posted about this a few times in our Patreon as well. But so these guys have, probably a lot of these coins. And as these coins skyrocket, they're going to be making like billions of dollars easily. And if that's all they were there for, they might just be like, you know what? I'm good. I'm not going to work. Like, it depends.
I don't think that's going to happen with sushi.
It depends. No, I know. I'm not saying sushi specifically, but I'm saying there are platforms like that are just riding on the coattails, and they're there for profit. So either they're going to cut and run when the profit dries up, or they're going to cut and run when they're like, yeah, that's actually enough profit for me. I'm good. Well, it's all about the incentivization of why they're there, So
what was that guy's name? The sushi guy?
I forget.
Yeah, so the sushi swap
chef something.
Oh my gosh, they had such drama that I actually pulled out all my coins. I'm like, all right, let's see this thing settle down, and then it did, and then we got back in. But yeah, you just have to be really wary about some of these coins. Like they really started out really crappy, and they screwed over a lot of people. And but yeah, they recovered. So
yeah,
bring it.
Nick had a good question. What average percentage return from staking can we hope in the next bear, in your opinion? The beautiful thing about staking, and if you don't, there's a very significant difference between staking and lending. And I put a link to the class that I talked about these two differences. The beautiful thing about staking is not only the custodianship of it, a lot of them you can stake and keep it in your ledger or your hardware wallet, is that the percentage of coins that you earn off of your investment or whatever, the coins that you're holding, doesn't change. The percentage of return in terms of coins is the same no matter what the cost or what the price of that coin is. So let's say, you put in 100 Tezos and you get paid roughly 7% or something a year. You're going to get 70 Tezos no matter what the cost of Tezos is. So
price.
No matter what the price of Tezos is. So in that way, that's what we're saying. It's also another easy way to accumulate coins because it's not based on the price. It's based on just the coins that you have, not the price of those coins. I think that's very important. But the average percentage of return is, for most staking platforms, it varies between I think you can it's safe to assume between 5 and 15% is the average for these. But by the way, did you know the easiest staking coin ever that you can stake is Algorand? Algorand. Yeah. You don't have to do anything. You just put it in a wallet and that's it. You don't have to claim anything. It's automatically added back into your wallet. It's designed that way from the code. It is the foolproof way to stake your coins. So if you're wanting, I'm not sure. And I think that their percentage is it's average as well. Maybe even 10%. I don't know. I did a report on it. But off the top of my head, I'm not remembering. But for those of you who want to, get started on that, just do Algo. And it's so easy. Yeah.
And they have a really solid team backing them, and they have plenty of cash on hand for development. So yeah. That's a great one.
Yeah. William, he's asking where on Patreon can he find your coin tips? If you're on the homepage of our Patreon, you'll notice there's 4 boxes or 4 categories, and there's a lot more also. But the 4 are the most popular ones are classes, trade alerts, live streams, and crypto life hacks. And you can find all of our trade alerts under the, you click on trade alerts and it'll show you all the posts that fall under that category. Also, for those of you who are just trying to navigate, maybe it's an exchange or maybe it's a wallet or like transaction fees or whatever, go to Crypto Life Hacks and just little tricks that I've learned along the way. I made a video on it and put it in that category as well.
What's a shallow investment?
Did someone ask that? Oh, maybe for our small cap coins.
Oh, for like really tiny amount.
It's again, it depends on how much you're comfortable investing. But if you're comparing what I would invest in Bitcoin versus something in a completely brand new cryptocurrency, it's really untested and it's kind of, who knows what's going to happen to it. It's pennies compared to what I would put into Bitcoin, really. It's just very small amounts that I don't care if it goes to zero, and amounts that if it goes to profit, cool. That's great. But I'm not going to cry if
it was similar to our GRT.
Yeah.
Our GRT call where it was just, we didn't put that much in there. I mean, but we were able to get a bunch of coins because they're so cheap, and now it's like gone ballistic.
Yeah.
and so was Luna. Luna, we were buying it pennies pretty much, and now it's crazy. So
yeah. Shazada is also asking, should algo be long-term hold as well? It could be. I'm going to sell my algo at the top of the market. It's one of the coins that we're okay with letting go with.
Yeah.
But I've heard they has, cool partnerships and big people from the tech world are kind of in it, but
cool partnerships.
Whatever.
They have some very good developers, that's for sure. And they range from like Ethereum and Bitcoin.
But you got to do your own research. I always encourage you guys to do your own research because you might see something that I don't. You might value something that I don't. And if you want to know how we research a coin, at least, I did a class on that as well. So if you want to know how to find all of our classes, again, on that category tag of classes at the top of our homepage, they're all linked there.
Oh, that's awesome, Hannah.
I'm glad Atomic Wallet is working for you. I heard maybe Atomic Wallet could have some issues, but I'm glad it's working for you. Another option that's very similar to that is Exodus. They're pretty much the same thing. But so if for any reason you have any issue with Atomic Wallet, try out Exodus.
Havoc Pants. Yes, Elrond is definitely a buy, but we don't own any. I mean, there's so many coins that you can possibly get into, you know what I mean?
And that's something we're asked on Patreon as well. It's like, oh, I see this coin isn't in your portfolio. Why not? It's like, we can't own all of the coins, and there's certainly going to be coins that perform very well that aren't in our portfolio. That's just the way it is.
But what we do try to do is pick the absolute best coins that will last through the bull run and that have the most potential. So that's why I'm constantly looking at market cap and supply. Like that's the first thing I look at before the price.
William's asking, I feel like I'm too late now. Bitcoin is high, alts went high. How to profit at this right moment? This is when, if you haven't gained any exposure to crypto yet, like I agree, it's at least for altcoins, it is very risky. I mean, half of us is like, okay, it's going to go forever. So like you can see profits, but like, this is when I think it's very important for you to take a look at the long-term perspective of these coins, because let's say it is Bitcoin, and let's say this Bitcoin bull run goes by the book of past bull runs. Like usually, like basically you can hold Bitcoin for 3 years and you're going to see profit no matter when you bought. Even if you bought at the peak of the bull run in 2017, 2018,
you're killing it.
You would see a lot of profit now. So if you're nervous about investing in cryptocurrencies now, it's really important. I mean, at least Bitcoin. If you're nervous about buying Bitcoin now, that to me signals that you need to understand what is kind of happening with global macroeconomics and how Bitcoin addresses those issues very specifically, and how these huge corporations that are buying Bitcoin and choosing it as their reserve asset over gold and over cash, why they're choosing to put hundreds of millions of their dollars into it to hold
or bonds or anything. Yeah.
You need to understand what they see, because it is the same story for them as it is for anyone who's holding Bitcoin. It's a very valid and awesome innovation in how money can work. And yeah, the fundamentals.
Let me hop in there. So, I mean, if you're nervous about getting into Bitcoin, I understand. But, I mean, look at Ethereum. Ethereum's only, what, $300 and something over, maybe $400 over its all-time high in 2018. Like, it hasn't even close to doubled yet. So, like, there you go. There's your undervalued coin, in my opinion. I mean, especially they're working on layer 2 solutions. And I mean, if they, I'm just throwing it out there, if they happen to come out with layer 2 solution by tomorrow, it's going to 50K, you know what I mean? Or 20K. That thing's
Ethereum?
going crazy. Jeez. Oh, geez. Yeah. Cause everything's going to flip over to Ethereum, you know, who needs anything else? Yeah. You're going to see a lot of other coins dump, but all the money's going to flow there. So, I mean, just there's your undervalued coin. You know, I have a lot of faith in it. The development team is crazy good. They're some of the smartest people in the world. And has a long way to go in my opinion.
I do have a slight little note to say to Shahzada. It's great that you are confident in crypto, but I highly recommend that you don't ever publicly announce how much you've invested. Just don't want you to be a target for a scammer or a hacker or anyone like that to take advantage of you. I think that's some really kind of personal and sensitive information. I think you should just not put out publicly.
But thanks for your trust.
This is a private live stream, and it's all good. Like here, maybe it's YouTube, but still, I would just encourage you to keep that to yourself if you can.
I gotta love it though.
Yeah.
So
cool. Well, that's gonna wrap up today's class. I hope that you guys found this one to be informative and we could enlighten you a little bit. If you enjoy topics like this, feel free to leave a like on this video so I know to kind of keep this kind of trend and information coming to you. I think it's very valuable, especially for newcomers, to kind of get a perspective, a mindset of someone like us and other people who have been around, just to ask questions and see what they're thinking.
Here. So when will you announce your next best coin?
You just did Bitcoin.
Yeah. Well, I'm always searching out coins and it's like really difficult now because there's always somebody shilling something and it's just like, man, it was so much easier to be like more original back in 2017, 2018. Now it's a lot more difficult because, you have like hundreds of YouTubers. They're just shilling everything they can get their hands on.
And they get paid a lot of money to do so, by the way.
Yeah, we're not getting paid crap for any of these. We're unless we're investing in it, you know what I mean? So like I'm researching a lot of coins and I'm just going to stick my head out there, whenever I find one. But, keep in mind that, I'm not going to be shilling coins that have a $2 million market cap. You know what I mean? Because there are some out there that if you guys decide to get into it, you're just going to blow the price up. You know what I mean? And so it can be really dangerous. And also they're very risky coins, very, very risky coins. And a lot of, some of these things are ICOs or initial coin investments. And you just have to be really careful. So I would only recommend coins that are close to like 25 to 50 million lowest, pretty much. I think that's safe, because once you get past that, you have more liquidity that snowballs. So you have people, big money kind of looks at it like, okay, there's enough liquidity that we can put our money into it. Whereas if it's $2 million, it's like.
Are you talking about volume?
Yeah. Or volume. Yeah. So, or no, market cap. So yeah. But there are different coins that I'm constantly researching and I'll let you know whenever I find them. And they should be coming up soon.
Oh, maybe you should do a class on like how you look at a coin. Maybe that would be the next class for March, guys. Where like you can do like you can go through lists and pick a random coin and like just see what you see. No, because that's the whole point of this is like, you know, trying to help you guys do this on your own as well. So.
Hey, thanks, Fritzer. Yeah. The reef call was great. Yeah, that was a fun one. I think I'm holding on to that as well. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you everyone for participating. It was great. Really enjoyed ourselves. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. And we'll be coming to you again soon. But until then, hope you guys are staying happy and healthy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.